Jamaica international Michail Antonio to leave West Ham for Wolves. Join Premier 7 right now for the big chat. It is indeed a pleasure to be here on board as your host, Ryan Nelson, of the show today, as I am here to bring you some transfer news surrounding Jamaica football players. And today I have the news to share on the likeliness of Michail Antonio to possibly leave West Ham for Wolves. In that case, I am going to speak on the transfer news presented, then make some assessment on Mr. Antonio, and just to talk about the case of whether or not it is a good move for the Jamaican international. And of course, I just want to say if you are new to Premier 7, as you can see, I have 1,505 subscribers. Please go ahead and subscribe, share the content, comment on the videos, and that will help me here on YouTube to become more recognized. If you are already a subscriber, you know what to do. And of course, I am not only available on YouTube, you can check out my other social media platforms. Premier 7 is also available on TikTok and also on Instagram. So back to base. The topic: Jamaica international Michail Antonio to leave West Ham for Wolves? That is a question, as you can see. And with no further ado, let's jump right into the transfer details. All right, so we can see here that the news presented here: exclusive Wolves scooping out deal for £100,000 a week striker, published 5 hours ago. So the highlight shows here that Wolverhampton Wanderers are keeping tabs on West Ham United marksman Michail Antonio ahead of potential lodging bid. Gary O'Neill is eager to lure a central forward with Premier League experience to Molineux before the transfer deal, and Chelsea's outcast Broja has also been considered by Wolves as a potential recruit during the final weeks of the summer transfer window. So the summer transfer window is not in excess of 4 weeks before it's closed, but the Premier League campaign will kick off this coming Friday, and the teams in the Premier League have to get their team boosted. Henceforth, they have to prepare their players to take on the new campaign that awaits. So, Wolverhampton Wanderers boss Gary O'Neill has been monitoring Michail Antonio and could offer the West Ham United star an opportunity to embark on a fresh challenge at Molineux ahead of the summer transfer window, slamming shut late this month, Give Me Sports source has revealed. So, having boosted their budget by sanctioning the £52 million departure of Pedro Neto to Premier League rivals Chelsea last weekend, Wolves are scouring the market for a fresh attacking option a matter of days before they get the campaign underway with a trip to Arsenal. Furthermore, sporting director Matt Hobbs has been leading the West Midlands outfit recruitment drive, and after already allowing Max Killman to join West Ham in a £40 million switch, he could look to strike a deal which see Antonio head in the opposite direction before the fast approaching August 30 deadline. So the news shared showed that West Ham striker Michail Antonio is on the radar of Wolves, and seeing that the price tag for Mr. Antonio isn't far away from Mr. Killman, who was actually at Wolves before, possibly a swap deal would be the best option. And seeing that Pedro Neto has departed for Chelsea in a £52 million transfer deal, it shows that West Ham could basically get some financial benefits in getting in a killman, but putting Michail Antonio in the hands of the Wolverhampton Wanderers. I mean, it is going to be something for which you have to sit down and think about whether or not Antonio should leave for Wolves or should he consider going to a different club. Because based on the fact that the transfer window is not closed as yet, and we should understand that not all transfers that goes to a club makes much of a sense, which means that not all transfers will work. Possibly, I think Antonio may be there wondering if this will be the best move for him. And the reason for such is because of the style of play as to how Wolves would play. And seeing that Antonio, to me, may be on the decline very shortly, is Wolves the best team for him to go to. But apart from that, before I jump into the fact or the case of whether or not it is a good move for Antonio, let me just bring across the importance of Antonio and the transfer market assessment. We are seeing here that Antonio has more trophies than Harry Kane, three trophies to his name, currently aged 34. He's a center forward, but he can play in various positions. He can play as a left mid or a right mid. Not thinking that he would be a great option from the wing position, even though sometimes we can see that. For an Antonio, his last season at West Ham, he played 26 games. That is somewhat a few less than his normal amount of games, scoring 6 goals and making 2 assists. Holistically, he has been at West Ham in excess of 6 seasons in totality, 254 games in the Premier League, 67 goals, 33 assists. Could be better, but I mean, he's not the best of the best striker if to compare with the highest profile. So let's say he's a good player at West Ham because I think he is up there in terms of having the most goals scored for the Hammers. So seeing that he is somewhat in a state of should I stay, should I go, I think West Ham wants to recruit someone different and to see the likes of a Declan Rice led for Arsenal at a big price tag in excess of 90 million euros. I think Antonio would be an easier deal for them to get out of their club or off their books. Seeing that Antonio is coming to a decline, as I have expressed earlier on, and seeing that they want to get in some more money, bringing about new players, because then again, they are bringing full crews from Germany to become the striker of the club. And I mean, full crew right now is in a better form than Antonio. And I mean, seeing that also his contract expires this June 30, 2024. His last extension was in 2022. I don't think Wolves would want to keep an Antonio at the club any longer. But apart from that, let me just talk about the case of does Antonio possibly move to Wolves a decent one? It is decent for Antonio to find himself a different club, but I don't think it would be the best of the best option for him to go to Wolves. And looking at this, I am remembering when Diego Costa went to Wolves in his last thing of his Premier League arrival, it wasn't a good show for him, and that is what I'm actually seeing here surrounding Michail Antonio. Yes, he may be in a better form or shape, but how Wolves play football, Wolves not the team that plays like I don't think they play really of a slow approach football or position ball games. Yes, they can hit on the counter at times, but if you realize Wolves players are normally quick when they're playing up front. So and Antonio coming into Wolves, maybe he's a bit the striking option at the edge of the box or in the box. But in terms of build-up play, I don't think he suits the system that well, even though he is an option that they would like to bring in. For me, Antonio should I think he could go to a different club like a Bournemouth. But Solanke is going to be replaced already, seeing that Solanke has his medical and everything completed being at Spurs. So for me, I don't think it is the best club for an Antonio. I could be wrong. I'm just sharing my opinion. I don't think he should go to Saudi Arabia, even though he could do such as well to have more games played, more games underneath his belt. It can more so build him in terms of preparation to come and play for Jamaica in the CONCACAF Nations League that is going to happen somewhat very close to this month, and get himself in that proper shape and groove for the upcoming World Cup qualifying games that follows within the same time or thereafter. So if he don't want to go to Saudi Arabia, he can join a different club in the Premier League, or he can even go to Italy. There are a lot of teams in Italy that are still in the transfer market, and I think Antonio could drop in one of those clubs. I won't say a Napoli, I won't say a Juventus, but based on the slowness that that particular game have and the list of the requirement for physicality. Not to say that those things doesn't happen. I think Italy would be the best move for Michail Antonio. Seeing that, for example, Lukaku left from the Premier League and go to Italy at Inter Milan, done exceptionally well there. Still doing a good job at Roma. I think Antonio going into the Italian league would be a good idea. Or he could go to a different country. He could even play for Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, one of those clubs that are top clubs within their geographical location. But I mean, I am here to share the news. I'm here to let you know that the Jamaican international is possibly on the move to leave West Ham, seeing that West Ham has recruited full crew. They want to have a better campaign this time around, and with Antonio not being the best of the best option in their mind, then Antonio will more so be pushed outside of the door. So, people, what is your say surrounding the topic? Jamaica international Michail Antonio to leave West Ham for Wolves. Of course, it is for you to have your say and let Premier 7 know what you think about this news on Michail Antonio. To comment, and of course, I will respond once I can. Take care until we meet again. Bye bye for now.